trades have been good for me. I hope I've been good for skilled trades. We're getting the word out. We're talking to a lot of people on a regular basis. So I just heard another beep. I certainly hope that wasn't me logging out. Okay, Melissa, can you confirm that you can still hear me, Melissa? I'm not hearing any confirmation, so I am going to escape this, go back here, and it does appear that I am here. So what I'm going to do is turn my camera on, and this is me. You get to see me instead of my presentation. It appears that my presentation doesn't want to cooperate tonight, so we'll get around it. Don't worry about it. Okay, so apprenticeship and trades. Why would you want to get into apprenticeship and trades? Well, for one, it's extremely rewarding. For two, it's affordable. It's very affordable. I'm going to share some information with you shortly that will show you that you can actually get paid to go to school while you're an apprentice. Okay, so all is good. Okay, so how do we get registered as an apprentice, and how does apprenticeship work? Okay, so first of all, you want to reach out to the college of your preference. Obviously, we in Kingston, Cornwall, and Brockville are hoping that you will be interested in reaching out to St. Lawrence College. We're in all three cities, right along the St. Lawrence, right to Lake Ontario. We are proud of our programs that we offer. I am available at all times for questions and conversations about skilled trades and apprenticeship. I teach directly in the carpentry program. I've taught in brick and stone masonry. I've tutored a little bit in electrical and millwright as well, some of the students. So I have been all over the college. So one of the first questions that you might be asking is, can I afford to be an apprentice? Okay, so I'm going to paint a scenario that I actually created through a website called payscale.com. Now, on this website, payscale.com, I highly recommend you go there if you're looking at different career options. Click on the city that you're interested in. It's going to give you the statistics on whether you went to post-secondary, meaning the college or university, or you may have opted to go straight from high school into the trades. There's all sorts of different options, and you can click on it. You can click on different trades. You can click on all sorts of different things that will give you some really good ideas of what the career options are that are out there, what the hiring rates are, and I will tell you right now that as far as skilled trades go, there is an extreme shortage in skilled trades, not just in Kingston and in Ontario, but right across Canada. We definitely need people to get into the skilled trades. Okay, so when I went on to payscale.com, I created a 4-year scenario based on 3 different scenarios. The first scenario is a person that graduates from high school. Congratulations, you graduated from high school and you moved right into a trade. And this trade that I'm using in my scenarios just happens to be building construction, carpentry, as an example. Okay, so there are hundreds of trades out there, literally hundreds of trades that are out there. So this person goes straight from high school into the trades. They don't seek an apprenticeship. And at the end of the first 4 years, on average, in Kingston, they're making, not just Kingston, but Eastern Ontario, they're making about $28,000 per year, which works out to about $14 an hour. Okay, so you're sitting there and you're thinking $14 an hour. Now, I don't think that's minimum wage. Well, it isn't minimum wage, but this person probably has really good work ethic if they're still working in the trade after 4 years. But the problem is they didn't educate themselves in a number of different ways. So they didn't reach in 4 years what they could have if they did go through post-secondary. So what happens, the reason that it looks like they're only making $14 an hour is that if there's no work for them, then they're sent home. When they have people that are skilled and people that can work independently on their own, and that sort of thing, then they're going to keep them working. Whereas maybe at noon hour, they're going to say, well, you might as well go home. We don't have any work for you. Hopefully we'll have some for you tomorrow, sort of thing. So that's one person that graduated from high school, went straight into the trades with no apprenticeship. You take a look at a person that did the exact opposite, and they graduated from high school, they registered as an apprentice, and then after 4 years, the average income in Eastern Ontario is just shy of $58,000. Okay, so compare that to $28,000. This is the exact same 4 years, just a totally different approach and a different way of actually going into the trade. Okay, so 28,000 versus 58,000, that's a pretty big difference. That's more than double in the same 4 years. Okay, so just to create a different scenario or a different plan of attack, I thought what I'd do is I take a look at another job that all of us totally appreciate, and we respect these people, and they're nurses. They're hardworking nurses. They've educated themselves. They're now working. Over the last 2 years, I can't say how much we appreciate our nurses. But as a comparison, we take a look at nurses in Kingston after 4 years after high school. How much are they making? Well, they're making $58,500. So that's $500 more than on average than a licensed carpenter is actually making. Okay, so is it a livable wage? Absolutely. Okay, and after 4 years, so only 4 years into your career, and you're making, you're almost touching $60,000. That is amazing. Okay, the other thing with skilled trades, because there's such a shortage, there's a lot of extra work out there that you can be completing. Okay, so you could work overtime, you could be project managers, you can be site running projects, sites, you name it. Okay, so that paints a bit of a picture that it is definitely more than a livable wage. I was in a webinar last week, and some of the incomes are between $150,000 and $200,000 a year for some of these tradespeople. Okay, now don't get me wrong; these people that are making $200,000 a year, or even $150,000 a year, they aren't working 40 hours a week. They're probably working 50 to 60 hours a week. Where they're putting in a lot of overtime, they're pricing jobs, they're doing all sorts of different things. They're traveling. Some of them were traveling all over Canada, some in the States as well. So, I mean, the possibilities are limitless with what you can do as a tradesperson. Okay, so how do you get started with an apprenticeship? Okay, so let's make this clear, because out of all the emails and phone calls I receive, this was probably the most asked question. Okay, and understandably so, because it's not crystal clear, and it's an ever-changing world out there, with government parties changing, all sorts of different things changing on a regular basis. Things change. Okay, so a lot of people think that because you're going to St. Lawrence College for your apprenticeship, for your in-school portion of your apprenticeship, a lot of people assume that they register at St. Lawrence. Now, I've been stopped by people in stores, at lumber stores, and all over the place. I've received phone calls, messages, emails, you name it, where they're just saying, all I want to do is register as an apprentice, and I don't know how to. Okay, so I want to make this really, really clear to everybody, so that you can identify how to get registered, how to get started, and where to go from there. Okay, so your first step is to seek employment in the trades. Okay, and I'm going to share a few things with you about that as well. One of your other steps would be to contact they're called MLTSD, which is Ministry of Labor, Training and Skills Development. We have an office on Concession Street in Kingston near the Turning Circle, the original Turning Circle in Kingston. There's one in Belleville. There's one in Brockville. They're all over the place. All you have to do is type MLTSD and on a Google search, and it will definitely take you to listings of all the offices within the province of Ontario. So you would essentially contact the office that would be closest to you. Okay, so once you've done that, they will ask you a few questions, and some offices actually have employers reaching out to them saying that if somebody calls and they want an apprenticeship in this trade or that trade, please send them my way. So some offices might be able to help you link up with an employer. Okay, so let's say you want to start working for a contractor. My dad always used to say to me, you know, if you find a job you love to do, you'll never have to work a day in your life. And boy, was he ever right. And am I ever blessed that he told me that, and that I have a career that I love to do, because teaching carpentry, teaching the trades, sharing the trades with hundreds of students every year is more than I ever could have dreamt of, for sure. Okay. So when we start our career, we want to start doing some research. We want to identify some areas that we might want to work in. Okay, so if you are unsure of what you'd like to do as far as work goes, some of the other options is we actually have full-time programs at the college as well that will also give you credit towards an apprenticeship. Okay, so if you're a person that says, you know, I've been trying to get work and I haven't been able to get work because they want you to have experience, well, we have a full-time one-year program in carpentry. We have other programs as well in electrical engineering, wind turbine technician, millwright, you name it. Hairstyling, cook, culinary, they all fall under the head of apprenticeship. We have full-time programs that we teach, and that will give you the experience that you might need to actually land a job. Okay, so one of the most common items feedback I hear from people is when they get back to me and they just say, you know, I'm having a lot of difficulty finding a job. Every time I go to somebody, they won't hire me or they don't hire me. And what I narrow it down to is I say, so what was your approach when you went to speak to the contractor? They said, I want to be an apprentice. Okay, so I'm going to encourage you to use a slightly different approach, okay, to land that job. Truth be known, when you or anybody is signing an apprenticeship, it's taking time and dedication from you, and it's taking time and dedication from the employer as well. So the employer is basically dedicating themselves to making sure that you're going to receive the proper training throughout your entire apprenticeship. Okay, so if I just met somebody on the street and they said, I wanted to be your apprentice, I would have second thoughts, because I don't know, number one, will you even like working for my company? Will you like the scopes of work that we do? Will I like you? Will you have good work ethic and that sort of thing? So once you basically talk to them, just say, I am interested in becoming an apprentice in the future, but I would love to prove that I have really good work ethic, and I'd love to come and work for your company if there's an opening. Okay, so it's a totally different approach to receiving the exact same thing in the end. Okay. So some of the bonuses to going through this way is you're going to work with the person, and then if you're a good worker and you're a hard worker, you're dedicated and you're honest and all of those key things that employers are looking for, then the employer is going to be very foolish not to sponsor you as an apprentice at that point in time. Okay, so you invite that conversation down the road, maybe 3 months, 6 months, whatever, and you go to the employer and you just basically say, you know what, I would really like to pursue this whole apprenticeship thing. Okay, so when you go into this apprenticeship portion, you go into the ministry to get registered. The first thing the ministry is going to say to your employer is, well, how long have the two of you worked together? and your employer is going to say, I don't know, what is it, like 6 months now? And they're going to say, okay, 6 months, you've worked together, and you want to sponsor them as an apprentice? Well, we know that you worked well together, so let's give you credit for that time. Okay, so your very first meeting, which will involve you and your employer with the ministry is going to give you credit for every single minute that you've worked for this person. Okay, so you're not wasting any time. You're going in, you're proving that you have good work ethic, you've got good work style, and that you're a good fit for their company. Okay. One of the other things that I don't encourage you to do is just make cold calls, meaning just go to a business and say, I'd like to work for you. Like, do your research. As I said earlier, if you find a job that you love, you'll never have to go to work a day in your life. So what that means is do a little bit of research. If you think that you are going to love building houses, take a look in the yellow pages or on Google. I guess we're not using yellow pages anymore, showing my age. So take a look on Google and find out who the contractors are. You can go to places like the Kingston Construction Association or Kingston Home Builders Association. There's so many different areas and different people you can reach out to this day and age. Go to their website, find a company and say, I don't know, who are these people? Go to their website and find out what they do. Find some pictures of work they've done. If that's stuff that you'd love to do, then I would strongly recommend you do a little bit of research on them. When you're on their website, read things like what they call their mission statement, which would be what they believe, what their future is. And I mean, if you are big on saving the planet and reducing your carbon footprint, which is so crucial this day and age, then find a company that believes in that as well. And then that's going to make you happier that you're reducing your carbon footprint and the carbon footprint of people that are going to be living in your buildings for years to come. Okay, so there's so many things that you can do. Find the company that you want and then seek them out. Go out and look for them. Most companies, like I say, are currently hiring a lot of people or hoping they could hire a lot of people. My phone rings off the hook. I get emails on a regular basis. Just 2 weeks ago, I had an employer reach out to me and they basically said, hey, you know what? If you had 5 people from your programs that you would recommend, then we would hire all 5 of them right now because we need these tradespeople. Okay, so getting involved is something that you can do a little bit of research, do a little bit of homework, identify the company you think would be a good fit. Feel free to reach out to me. Okay, my email address when I'm done talking, I'll write it into the speech, the bubble portion, just so you've actually got it. Okay, so what else is good about apprenticeship? Well, I'm going to tell you that it's very affordable, and it's very affordable in the sense that you get paid to go to school. Okay, so with an apprenticeship, you are actually working. So let's say you're taking carpentry, it could be plumbing, electrical, wind turbine, it could be any of these programs. Some of them are 8 weeks, some of them are 10 weeks, and some of them are 12 weeks. And what I mean by that is you will work for a year, come to school for 8 weeks. Work for a year, come to school for 8 weeks. Sometimes you'll do that for 3 consecutive years. Sometimes you'll do it for up to 5 consecutive years, depending on the trade, the apprenticeshipable trade that you're actually entering into. Okay, so the bonus with it is you will get paid to go to school because you're working before you go to school and after you go to school each year. You're paying and contributing into EI, which is known as employment insurance. Okay, so every 2 weeks while you're at school, you will have money deposited into your bank account. Okay, now don't get me wrong, it's not your full pay. It represents between 65 and 67% of your take-home pay, your 2-week take-home pay. So you will have to save a little bit of money, okay, to get through the 8 weeks, to purchase your books, to do this, to do that. But I mean, when you're getting paid to go to school, this is like icing on the cake. Should you have dependents? So maybe you have a child and the child is in daycare, the provincial government will actually compensate you for a good portion of these childcare expenses. If you're driving more than 23 kilometers each way, then they will compensate you for your fuel. They're not going to pay for all of your fuel. They're not going to pay for all your child expenses, but they are going to compensate you, and any compensation is going to be great. Okay. Now, because there's a skilled trade shortage, the federal government has what they call the Apprenticeship Incentive Grant. Okay. Did you hear me say grant? That means you don't have to pay it back. That means it's your money and you can do what you want with it. Okay. Obviously, it's their goal and their hopes and expectations that you're going to invest it in your career, invest it in your future. But truth be known, if you are in school for your 8-week period and you weren't able to save up a ton of money, and you might have upped your Visa or your MasterCard. Let's not go there. Let's try to save a little bit of money. But let's say that did happen, because life does happen. You can totally take that grant and pay off some debts with it, and purchase tools. You can do whatever you want with it. Okay. How much is the grant? Every level that you complete, except for your last level, is $1,000. Okay. So they literally, what will happen is you'll finish level 1. Let's say you're there for level 1. You're going to finish level 1. You're going to get a transcript, which is the exact same thing as a report card, but there's no comments. It's just your name, your information, and your final mark and your individual marks. You send that to the federal government and they go, hey, awesome, this person went to St. Lawrence College. Their programs are definitely recognized in the apprenticeship category. So let's send them $1,000. They're making themselves, they're improving themselves. So let's share the wealth. Okay, so they send you $1,000. You come in the following year, you complete level 2, you do the exact same thing. They send you another $1,000. Okay, then you finish, if it's a 3-year trade program such as carpentry, at the end of level 3, you will essentially send in your transcript that you've completed the program and you've completed level 3. You'll send in your license stating that you're a Red Seal certified carpenter. Excuse me. And then they will send you $2,000. So basically, over the 3-year span, they're going to send you $4,000 for venturing into the trade and going about through the apprenticeship models. Okay, so win-win, definitely. When it comes to tuition, if you're going into a full-time program, including our full-time trades programs, you're going to be paying a full tuition for a full-time program. Whereas with the apprenticeship program, each time you come to school, you're going to pay about $460. Okay, so when you come for level 1, you pay $460. It's basically an administration fee. Don't worry, we're not teaching for nothing. We are getting paid, but the ministry is basically paying the biggest part of the majority of your tuition when you're going through the apprenticeship program instead of you paying it. So you get paid to go to school, the ministry pays for your tuition, and then you get a grant in the end. So right now, there's never been a sweeter time or a better time to get involved in apprenticeship, that's for sure. Okay, so where was I going there? I was lost track. So you're getting your grants, you're getting paid to go to school, your tuition. So your tuition is going to be about $460. So don't get me wrong, each time you come, it'll be $460. So for level 1, $460, level 2, $460, level 3, $460. Now that is, there is a possibility. I don't know, or I haven't been told that there's going to be any changes. I've been at the college for 20 years, and the most it's gone up is, I think, $51 in 20 years. It's gone up, that administration fee. It's gone, and it did go up at once. It's just over the years, it's gone up a little bit here and a little bit there. Okay, you will have to purchase books when you're coming to school as well. So again, another reason to save some money with the books. If you want to know how much you need to save for your books and tool allowances and that sort of thing, then by all means, go to our website, stlawrencecollege.ca, click on the program. So click on full-time, excuse me, click on the full-time programs, and then look for carpentry, or look for plumbing, look for electrical, look for whatever it is. Look at all of them. okay? And try to make a decision on which one you think you'd like the most, okay? Also, feel free to reach out to me and try to determine which one would work best. I'm just going to shut my microphone off so I clear my throat here for a second. Okay, I think I'm good to go now. I've been presenting since about 9 o'clock this morning, so the throat's getting a little bit dry. Okay, so in a few minutes we're going to open up the floor for questions, but I'm just going to continue talking about about apprenticeship and trades. Okay, some other things really good is if you don't learn best by sitting behind a desk, sitting in a chair behind a desk. You're not alone. That's me. I put my hand up gladly there. I learn by doing. I learn by hands-on experience. I am a licensed carpenter. Every one of our tradespeople, so any of our apprenticeship programs that are being taught within the college, whether it's in Brockville, Cornwall, or Kingston, we are definitely all licensed Red Seal tradespeople in the trade that we're teaching. And we were that long before we became teachers. Okay, so then we educated ourselves to become teachers. So then we had the trade knowledge, the trade experience. And the other thing that's a real bonus is I was saying this to a group of advanced apprentices that just finished 2 weeks ago. It's always a great day, but a sad day when everybody finishes because it's coming to an end, but it's coming to a beginning for them. When I'm talking to them, I was just saying, you know what the best part of this whole thing is when we're done, we're all talking trades talk. We're talking the same language, which is almost like a language of its own. Okay, I can throw anything at any of our graduates, at any of our advanced level apprentices, and they're totally going to understand, and they're totally going to be able to take a look at a quick sketch that I'm going to do. And it's to me, it's just another form of communication. Okay, so what else will the trades have to offer? Not only are you not sitting behind a desk, but you are extremely active. You're busy. The time flies right by. I've put in 10-hour days, and it's just like, are you kidding me? If it didn't get dark, I wouldn't know it wasn't the end of the day because it's so much fun. It's enjoyable. Yes, it's demanding on the body. You have to be physically active. You have to be able to keep up, that sort of thing. But for me, it would drive me nuts. And yes, I teach. So sitting behind a desk is definitely part of my job, but it's a very small part of my job because I'm always in labs with students, or when we're actually teaching in theory classes. We know that by me standing there talking endlessly for 3 hours or 6 hours, you're going to stop learning after you're going to shut off after a very short period of time. So all of the apprenticeship teachers, not all, but most of us, try to keep things extremely active. So we bring things to class where you're actually working. You've got some tools in the classroom. You've got tools in your hands. Even though you're sitting at a desk, it doesn't seem like you're at a desk. Okay. So all sorts of amazing things will happen. Yes, in February, it's darn cold out there. But the thing I love about February is you can dress warm to stay warm. In August, when it's hot and humid, there are days where I would prefer to work in mid-February when it's minus 25 plus the wind chill, for the simple fact that you can dress for the situation, whereas in the summertime, it's a bit tough. Okay, so if you think that you would learn best by working hands-on, experiential learning by doing, then I would definitely say that apprenticeship could be the route that you might want to take. Okay. So again, rather than me just going on and on and on, I am going to open up the opportunity. I'll hand things back to Melissa, and Melissa can let me know about any questions while she's talking. I'll go to the speech bubble here, and I'll just type my email address in as well, and then anybody can feel free to reach out to me. Should you be watching this as a recording in the future rather than watching it live now, by all means, feel free to reach out to me with any questions about any of the programs we have at the college. even if they're not trades related, even if it's not an apprenticeship program, reach out to me and I'll point you in the right direction to the people that you need to talk to. So again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm not planning on leaving right now. I'm hoping that there's a lot of questions that are coming in, and I'll answer each and every one of them before I leave tonight. So I'll just hand things back to Melissa.
Yeah, thank you so much, Barry. And I did put your email in the chat already, so that's great. So it's bbotham@sl.on.ca. I also put the link to the apprenticeship incentives that you were talking about, the grants that you were speaking of, so that people had that as well. I am going to stop the recording just so that we can get to kind of more personalized questions if you'd like to do that. But wanted to thank you, Barry, before we stop the recording for your talk this evening.